What if I told you there's a place where reality itself seems to bend, where strange lights dart across the sky, monstrous creatures roam from the shadows, and the laws of nature feel optional? If you guessed Skinwalker Ranch, then you're absolutely right. Tonight, we peel back the layers of this paranormal playground, venturing into the unknown. So hold tight, because the truth isn't just out there, it's waiting in the heart of Utah's most mysterious hotspot.
Welcome, stranger.
Secret society.
Strangers. Society.
Welcome to the secret society.
Strangers?
Welcome to the Secret Society of Strangers. I'm Lee, here as always with Josh and Jen.
What it do?
It's fucking strangers.
Oh, we got flaps today, man.
Oh,
We got
man,
an
big
actual
flaps.
flap for you.
And portals, flaps and portals.
Yeah.
Flaps and holes. Flaps and
Ooh.
holes.
It's like boots and pants, but
Yeah.
grosser.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like you heard in that opening, we are going to like the most paranormal, UFO-y, interdimensionally thin place there is in the United States that we can
It's
think
really
of.
got everything going on for it, pretty
Yeah.
much.
It's like Disneyland for strange people.
Yeah, it's like once
Yeah.
you become paranormal or cryptid, they're like, "Where are you going today?" "I'm going to Skinwalker Ranch."
Woo!
Yes. There's just some Bigfoot in the woods, like, "Oh, they always got to come fucking here." Like,
These
not
weirdos
like we don't have
again.
enough shit here anyway.
Right.
A lot.
Well, if you don't know what Skinwalker Ranch is, even better, stay tuned. It's really kind of wild how much stuff is here. We're going to cover part of Skinwalker Ranch now and another part sometime in the future because it definitely has its time periods and you don't necessarily need to track it straight through to see how wild and crazy the stuff is there.
Yeah, we'll
Before
always
we
come back
start,
to the ranch.
yeah, we could always go back to the ranch. It's like any other ranch that you go to.
Yeah.
Homo Range. Yeah, I think it's funny that like kids got sent there and shit for like
To
being
toughen them
tough. Like
up.
I go there, like like go to Skinwalker Ranch. That's not the place I want to fucking go to toughen up, man.
No. No, you may not come back. I don't.
Yeah, right.
Or
Exactly.
you
Like, I
will
could
come
deal
back
with like
changed, all right. But
deal with like
Oh,
some
man.
old cowboy guy, but I don't deal with portals and like
yeah.
weird chupacabra type things.
Oh,
Okay, before we start, disclaimer: our poor animals are not safe during this episode. So if you absolutely can't handle animal harm, I'm sorry, this is not the episode for you. That's about it for the gore.
peace out.
People are pretty safe.
Yeah, people are pretty
Yeah.
safe on this one. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
cattle
No, it's
mutilation,
bad.
and then
Yeah,
something
lot of
happens to some
lot
really
of
good
fuckery.
pups. Yeah, a bunch of
Oh, wow.
fuckery.
A lot of fuckery in this one. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Skinwalker Ranch?
All right. So, as we all know, Skinwalker Ranch, also known as the Sherman Ranch, it's a property that's approximately 512 acres, and that's located southeast of Ballard, Utah. And it's supposed to be this huge reputation for paranormal UFO related activities, like you name it, like portals, poltergeists, fuckery, cattle mutilations. They actually see UFOs, like everything you can think of happens on
Orbs.
this ranch. Orbs,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Magnetic
obviously,
fields,
Hmm.
yep. Yeah, weird like interference
frequencies,
with
and yeah.
tech and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
mostly we got skinwalkers. Right?
Yeah.
Ouch. Oh.
Yeah. So skinwalkers are pretty big taboo in the Navajo world. So it's the name it's taken from Skinwalker of Navajo legend. And you guys know what a skinwalker is?
I may, but there may be people listening that
Right.
don't fully know.
Yeah. Don't want to ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, all right. So the skinwalker you kind of need to have like a little backstory about it. So the Ute Native American tribe, they arrived in Utah in the 1300s, so that's a pretty long time ago. And while the Navajo tribe arrived in the early 1600s, and these guys really didn't get along. There was a lot of like conflict and strife, and they would always fight each other for land and all that good
Neighbors.
stuff. Yeah, neighbors being neighbors. So one legend says that after a really violent altercation in which the Ute helped out, oust the Navajo from their property and their land and stuff like that, the Navajo cursed the Ute, unleashing skinwalkers within their territory. And, the Ute territory was located about 20 miles from what is now known as Skinwalker Ranch. And now keep in mind that not everyone agrees that there ever was such a curse. So it was kind of like a he said, she said, like old grandfather legend
Yeah,
type deal
word
thing.
of mouth. Like,
Yeah, oral history. But skinwalkers have played like a huge frequent role in Native American folklore, pop culture, and anything weird and creepy. So the Navajo, seems to be the tribe that's closely related with the skinwalkers because they put the curse of the skinwalker on the Utes.
hmm.
So according to Navajo legend, skinwalkers, and I'm not even going to try to say that, but in Navajo language, it translates to with it, he goes on all fours. So pretty much like a person just transforms and starts walking on all fours.
Yeah.
Skinwalkers are allegedly malevolent witches with supernatural powers, and it lets them shapeshift from human to animal at will. And it could be like any kind of animal, so like a coyote, wolf, fox, bears. But like, wouldn't it be weird if they just like turned themselves into something like an ostrich or some shit?
I mean, I
That
guess
would
they
be
could.
worse.
That'd be so terrible. Or a penguin just in the middle of
Oh, especially in the desert.
You laugh. Listen to this. You're just in some cabin somewhere. You're hanging out, having a few drinks. All of a sudden, you go upstairs to go to the bathroom, and now there's just a fucking penguin staring at you in the hallway. Just
dead beady eyed.
gotta go to the bathroom, guy. Like
Actually, not. I have no
he just
business going there.
He's like that way.
His little flicker.
And just like toddles away.
Smile and wave, boys.
Like,
Smile
I
and wave.
think we're good here.
But yeah, no, if I was a skinwalker, that's what I would do. I'd just do ridiculously obscene animals like a peacock.
Well, you're supposed to be scary, so I don't know that that's what you would do if you were scared.
But you can turn into any animal. It's like they're,
I
I mean, I
know,
get the
but
scary aspect of
you
it.
have
starting
to have
to
the skin
lose
of
your
the animal.
scare.
You do. So skinwalkers are witches who have been initiated by like completing some terrible act, like killing somebody in your family and usually like eating them, like taking like a piece of their flesh inside of you. And it's like supposed to be like some ridiculous taboo act that
Yup.
separates you from humanity
Well,
or like an act
Everyone
against
else who
nature.
doesn't eat people,
I-
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that. I agree with that one.
that would make you different.
Mhm. Yeah, 100% cannibalism. Not everybody does it.
No, not for everyone. No.
Oh, it's like Campbell's soup. Good.
No.
Don't, people. No.
People don't eat people. Don't do that.
No.
But yeah, so they do that, and then they get after the murder, they get their supernatural powers, and in addition to taking on the shape of animals, they do wear predatory pelts and skins and skulls to get even more powerful. So yeah, you essentially have to wear like a pelt or a skin of whatever animal that you're gonna transform into.
It's like leveling up in a game. Like as you collect armor, you become more powerful. So like,
Pretty much.
you get a bigger and
Yeah.
bigger skull. Like you start with like a little fucking like muskrat, and all of a sudden now you're walking around like with the overpowered armor on. You got like a bear head on, like a moose, a moose horn for like a shield.
You
You're,
just
like,
end up
ready
a
to go.
Moose
chimera.
horn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yo, meese? Oh, what is that? What is the
Mice,
correct
mooses? Moose.
Just moose.
moose? Okay, yep. We're super literate guys. They're terrifying in real life, though. They're massive.
I don't want anything to do with a moose.
No, 100% good on that. And I'm also good on skinwalkers. Like I don't need to
Oh,
run into
yeah.
one.
Being good on skinwalkers.
100%. But yeah, so the Navajo, pretty much use the skinwalker as like a scapegoat for blaming the creature for anything from like weather, shitty weather, death, your
Mm,
neighbor's cousin tripped and
Yeah.
broke their foot. Skinwalker snake must have tripped him up.
mm,
I think I've also read or watched or listened to someone say that like they would after like years and years they would like get kind of misused and like people that had like grudges or vengeance on someone would like send skinwalkers after people in like revenge or whatever.
Oh yeah, because people
Yeah,
people are assholes like that.
Why do your bidding when you could get a skinwalker to scare someone?
Yeah, no shit,
exactly.
right? That would be terrifying. I have seen like, like videos and stuff like that of like alleged skinwalkers, and it is weird. It is creepy looking.
There's a few. I probably should. I'll probably post them on the Instagram. If you
Yeah.
guys will follow us on Instagram, I'm gonna look for some of the there's one when you can see it that's like from far away, and unless it's some like 2001 great CGI, like that thing changes from like a big horse or four-legged animal to a person.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
There's
you
some
I
guys
know
think
what
about
you're
that.
talking about.
compelling
Yeah.
ones out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But shape-shifting creatures aren't exclusive to just the Navajo. So other groups have similar legends to the Skinwalker, including, the Apache, the Hopi, and even Europeans like the Slavs and French, werewolves and such like that. Ancient Greece, it was lichens.
Lichens,
Yep.
my favorites. Do you ever see
Mhm.
those cats?
Which cats? The
They're
musical
called
show cat?
lycoids. Angelical cats. No. They're called lycoids.
Uh-uh.
They're a mix between like I forgot what they're called, the hairless cats
Okay.
and like
Sphinxes?
and
Yeah.
yeah, and like a Devon Rex or some other kind of weird furred cat. So they
Okay.
have this like patchy and they look like werewolves, but they're
Oh.
Oh,
I am. They're so cool. I want one so
I
bad.
don't know if how I feel about that. I'd have to see
interesting.
what it looks like.
Again, I gotta remember to
Yeah,
like
it's
stuff. I gotta take notes.
staring at you at 4 a.m. to feed it.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll try to post it on Instagram. So before we actually go any further here, let's take a little look at the layout of what we got for Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is a good portion of Skinwalker Ranch. Like, I don't know if they have the whole mesa, but they do have like a good front chunk of it, like on
Yeah,
Skinwalker Ranch.
yeah. I don't
Mhm.
think that's all theirs, but there's nothing around them. Like it's
Yeah.
No, it's massive.
open,
512 acres. That's insane.
Mhm.
big space.
Yeah, and
So
then
where
there's
we're
multiple homesteads too. I think there's like 3 or 4,
yeah. Oh,
something
there's
like
a
that.
bunch of like different. Yeah. So we'll get probably to it a little bit later. There are a lot of weird things about how the property is laid out. So like Josh was saying, there's multiple like little properties, but they're also like weirdly gated off.
Mhm.
Like,
Yes.
and there's these weird like divisions of stuff like for no apparent real reason because you can like walk around from the others. Like it's very weird. Yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
probably
the
get into
whole
that.
the whole property is super weird. So what does Skinwalkers really have to do with this ranch, aside from the legend of the curse between those two tribes? Well, there's been various alleged Skinwalker sightings on, you guessed it, Skinwalker Ranch. So if it's a duck, it's a duck, it's a duck, it's gonna quack like one probably. So Skinwalkers be Skinwalker. And so because of these sightings, the previous owner, Terry Sherman, gave it the new infamous name of Skinwalker Ranch. And they've been blamed for cattle mutilations and obviously frightening everybody that lives there and visitors to the ranch. Like that's terrifying. But I don't think the Skinwalker's to blame for cattle mutilations and some of the other
Right.
No,
crazy things
no, I
that
don't
go
think so
on.
either.
Uh,
I agree.
And there are other ranches that are neighboring or far away, but that have also had weird things happen, seen skinwalkers, seen orbs. So it's this
Mhm.
whole area.
yeah, I
And
think
it's
it's just
not
the
just
whole
this
valley. Yeah.
person or this
Yeah.
family that's seen them.
Yeah, so it's been weird, this whole valley of just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, that was what the third. You said like 1300s
Yeah, the
with the Utes, I
1300s when
think.
the Utes showed up, and then 1600s was when the Navajo showed up.
Yeah, and then 1700s, there's reports of like Spanish missionaries seeing like fireballs in the sky in this area too. So
Yeah,
to
so it's
anyone that
I think, yeah.
goes there,
always.
Yeah. You can't blame that
Yeah, I
on a
remember.
plane or a satellite or whatever in the 1700s. So,
Nah, none of that stuff. Oh man. I would be freaking out if I saw that. And it was just like out there.
yeah,
I was
I
like,
can't
what the fuck
imagine.
is that?
you just don't. No one would
Yeah.
believe you.
Mm.
Josh has
So
gone mad.
I've gone mad. So let's get into some more maddening things, apparently. We're going to get into the Shermans, aka the Gormans, because they've changed their name for like the book Hunt for the Skinwalker, Colm Kelleher and George Knapp. Shout outs. That was where a lot of research came from. So in 1994, Terry and Gwen Sherman, as well as their children, moved themselves and their cattle ranch to Skinwalker Ranch. So in that summer, Terry, he was a rancher, prize cattle breeder. He had like really good Angus, and everybody wanted his cows and stuff like that. So he was pretty successful breeding cow. And his wife, Gwen, she just worked at a local bank for like 20 years. So shout outs to her for holding it down for 20 years. They found the Dream Ranch, and it was that 512-acre spread. It was their little remote weird paradise, but they didn't know it was
Yeah.
going to be weird.
You gotta
Not
imagine
that
as like a
weird.
rancher, you see this land, you got that big like mesa, so you got some kind of like natural coverage from like crazy
Yes.
windstorms and things. So you're like, this has got to be a great spot, right? Like, look at all this room. This is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they got
What
it
could
for
go
like
wrong?
dirt cheap. And it was
First clue,
like,
people, always in real estate.
you pretty much like this. They were wondering why it sat vacant for at over 7 years. Like nobody had bought this land for
Ooh,
7 years before they.
yeah. He's like, so price. Now I also have a place for like my prize cattle. Like, it'd be perfect. And then you find out
It's not.
your cattle ain't safe, boy.
Nah. So they thought it would be the perfect place to raise their teenage son and their 9-year-old daughter at the time. And the land bordered the Uinta and Ori Ute Indian Reservation, and it was protected by this big red rock ridge that they just
Hmm.
dubbed the Mesa. So it was just
Mhm.
big, flat, rocky Mesa. I think it's pretty cool to look at, but there's
I
so
It
mean,
many
is.
that'd be
stories about
awesome.
it.
And think if you're
Absolutely.
looking for cattle, like I would just go up on the mesa and be like, there they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
Like,
that
Right.
would be like the perfect place. I would set
yeah,
up like a little homestead up there, and then you just watch, make sure
yeah.
you're where all your
You take your
cattle is.
ATV up and you just put
Yeah.
your horse and you just go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they had ATVs back well, wait, this was
Well,
like
this is like the
'94.
90s. They got,
Yeah,
yeah, they
they
got,
had.
they're
Yeah.
just big and slower.
I
Now
thought we
they're
were
like,
still in the 1600s.
no. My time traveling ATV, that dope time machine.
That would be I feel like that would
That
be a
would
Florida
be. I
thing.
would like that.
Next time I get offered a time machine, can I have that put into an ATV, please?
So, the Shermans, on their first day there, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. They're getting their first load of cattle in the pen, and this is when they noticed something was a little off. So when they were putting the cattle in the pen, they saw this large wolf off in the distance, kind of like skulking and walking the tree line. And it was strange because there really aren't wolves in this area of Utah at all. So that was already odd to see like this giant dog thing. We're like, what the fuck is this thing? And out of nowhere, it all made it even stranger when this wolf just approached them and acted like a regular tame dog. Like it wanted
Oh,
them to pet it, and they did.
Really?
Like they were,
But this thing is like shoulder height.
yeah, it is like a
Like,
big dire wolf.
yeah, like this is
oh,
like this big docile, like Jake from Twilight comes up to you and you're
Here's a good boy. Yeah, pretty
yeah.
much.
like,
I don't know
no,
that that would have
like,
been my reaction, but yeah, bye. That's the payday.
well,
Yeah, like they were just
Probably
big
close
chill
to
with
the
this
west.
dog, just giving him all the loves and stuff. And I mean, I would. What a
I don't
big
know.
dog. I love big dogs.
I was traumatized by the nothing.
The what?
See, you know, Jen,
I
you
don't know
have to
that
know what
one.
nothing is from the
Not
never ending
yet.
story.
Oh,
Oh
jeez,
yeah,
that's so long ago.
I haven't seen that movie in a
Yeah,
long
so
ass
long
time.
ago, but I'm old.
I
So what do you
I
expect?
know that. Wow. Yeah, I'd have to do Wiki Deep,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So in the never ending story, Josh, at the end, Atreyu is faced with the nothing, and
Oh,
the
is that when he's
nothing.
like falling in the pit and then
No,
it?
that's
Oh,
when he loses Artrax. It's a whole
oh,
nother
okay,
fucking
yeah, that's
trauma.
right, that's
It's
right.
a whole nother trauma.
It's just so many traumas.
Yeah. So he's faced with the nothing as the world is getting destroyed and eaten by nothing around him, and the nothing appears to him in the form of this snarling, big black dog in like a hole in the wall, and it's like an articulated, like animatronic mouth that talks and shit, and he just has this conversation with Atreyu, and it's fucking terrifying. So
That does sound
Must have blocked
terrifying.
all of that
yeah.
out, and I'm glad
I
for it.
don't remember that in the
I
never-ending
Oh
don't
my
either,
god,
story.
but I
Jeremy, I'm
know
gonna
I've
find you a
seen it.
picture of the nothing. We have to put the nothing in here.
Like,
It has to happen because if you're too young to know what the nothing is, I'm gonna expose you to it, and if you should know what
you
it is,
too
you
can
already
be
know what it
traumatized.
You too
is.
could be
Oh,
traumatized.
yeah, for the small fee of listening to our podcast.
Please like and subscribe.
Yes,
It's free.
do that. We won't pay for your therapy though.
True that.
Definitely not. So yeah, this dog, they were giving it love and pets and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, the wolf just took a big left turn and just lunged at one of the calves that was in the pen. Because this calf stuck its neck out, apparently, and it's yeah.
Wolves be wolfing.
Wolves be wolfing, and that's a big wolf to be wolfing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
and
why would
it
pet
supposedly
them?
like moved like
Yeah.
lightning fast. Like it
Yeah.
was like oh on that sheet before they could even decide that it was not friendly anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Tom like straight up like Sparta kicked this thing like in the ribs, and he was a pretty, big
Yeah.
tall guy, big strong ranch man, and this thing just ate it. It was just
Yeah.
like, I didn't feel it. I'm still got
No,
your calf by the
exactly.
neck. Like, I'm going to eat this thing. So then he just grabbed his 357 Magnum, this big fucking Hoss gun, pretty much, and fired at the wolf multiple times, literally at point blank range, essentially.
Yep.
And there's like chunks of like flesh flying off this thing. And one thing that they did say later on was like the flesh just smelt and looked like it was decayed and rotted.
Yeah, like instantly.
Yeah, so
And that happens a few times with a few other things that like supposedly just die.
Mhm.
Sounds like they've been dead for a long time.
So that was one also weird thing about this other weird encounter. But yeah, the wolf yet again did not flinch, and it just ate shots from this big ass gun. So the wolf finally let go of the calf because I think it just must have just got bored with it. It was just like, I'm tired of you guys like messing with
Well,
me
he
and whatever.
upgrades his gun.
Oh yeah, he
He
gets
has
his
his son
rifle.
go get the big rifle, the 30-06.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
That shit's supposed to take down like caribou.
Yeah.
right.
Like, and this thing supposedly eats those shots too, and it's just like that. And then it's like, okay, maybe I'll just go
Yeah,
that way for a little while.
It's like it was just irritated, not
Yeah.
Mhm.
like gravely injured or anything like
Like when the
that.
Hulk gets shot, and he's like, ah,
Yes,
Just more
exactly.
Stop it.
annoyed by it than
Mhm.
anything.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then after the wolf finally like let the calf go, it just stood there and just looked at the family, like just stared at them. Which would have been just, I felt like if you were just in that moment, it would have felt like it took forever.
Yes. Oh, you'd like hear
Time
your
would have
heart
stood still.
pounding in your ears, I feel.
Oh, yeah. And then it's like you're just like it's probably conveying this message of like, get it,
Yes.
Yeah.
got it. Like I just ate everything you threw at me. I'm gonna leave your sheep alone right now, but next
And
time,
you
fucking think about this shit.
Yeah. So it finally like took off and ran away, and obviously Tom and his son just went and tried to track this thing because they're not going to let just some predator like that go after their cattle and not try to do something about it like in front of them. So they tried
Oh,
to
yeah.
track the wolf, but they lost it in the trees after tracking it a pretty good distance, but it was really muddy and it was harsh terrain. And the wolf the wolf's tracks were about an inch deep into the mud. So that was a pretty heavy animal.
That is a big animal.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's like
Like,
horse size. That's like,
yeah.
yeah, like
Oh,
you look at a horse print versus like a deer print
yeah.
or like a dog print, you could say
Yeah.
like that's like dominant. Yeah, that's and a padded foot. Yeah, so a
Yeah.
horse is a
Still
wolf. A wolf is a padded foot that shouldn't
do that.
do that.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
on
And
a
then
tractor.
these paw prints were just like larger than your average wolf, also. Like, because
Yeah.
it was all weird. And then there was
Man, and this is day one. They are there on day
this
one.
is,
This
yeah,
is
first day.
Oh,
welcome. Hi. Welcome home.
yeah.
Oh, you're gonna unload dinner for me?
Like
Oh,
you
thank
probably
you so much.
didn't check the keys yet.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts. And you got fucking wolves, dire wolf size, just mm-mm.
Just
Roaming
roaming
up to you.
about.
You know what I never even thought about? Like, so if this is day one, and this is like fuck, I've been joking around a lot. Like, this is day one. This thing comes up to you. You and your son shoot at it. Then you run blindly into unfamiliar land to chase this thing. Like, you don't really know the land yet. Like, you haven't been out there for long. You don't know what's like to expect out there. And you're just like, yeah, no, I'm not chasing this thing. I'm going home to my other house that I just sold and trying to buy it back or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually see if there's a take back
And
clause,
you.
takesy backs
Yes.
clause.
Lemon? Is there a lemon law? There's a lemon law for the house? Good.
I think you guys gave me a lemon. It's very haunted. The fuck?
No one told me about a 5-foot wolf.
Oh, you met Carl? Yeah, no, that's just our guard dog.
Yeah.
The fuck you garden? Hogwarts?
Pretty much. Fuck, Sorcerer's Stone, shout. But yeah, there was also no reported like blood that came from the wolf. And you would have thought like this would have been just covered in blood because you're just shooting it with a magnum and then a 30 on
Yeah.
6. Like this thing would have been Swiss cheese.
Yeah, for real.
But no, then it just had the chunks of flesh flying off of it that were rotted meat.
Yep. Weird.
And then more signs of weird things happening, but it was like the same place that the wolf encounter happened. There were these large circular impressions that the Shermans kept finding all over like different pastures, which was also super weird.
Like unidentified patches of stuff.
Yeah, just random like circle sized patches of like dead grass or indentations or whatever.
Fairy
And
ring.
fairy ring. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Don't trust fairies. They're little trickster fucks.
Nope. I have a fairy ring in my front
Oh.
yard.
Don't walk through it.
I just mow it over all
Nope.
the time.
Oh, see, that's why they keep putting it up.
That's gonna piss them off. Yeah.
That's why you haven't seen a UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're blocking you.
I'm marked. They keep
Yeah.
the mark.
Little does Lee know that there's like an intergalactic like gas station above his house, and the fairies have blocked him from seeing it.
There's just like, yeah, there's like a Truman show like tube over my house that just keeps it. I don't see nothing. Meanwhile, there's like all kinds of weird shit walking around my house. Just laughing. He has no fucking clue.
He has no idea.
You're like, nope, definitely can't see me.
Nothing there. So they followed one of these configurations and it formed like a 30-foot triangle. So there was just like 3 different circles or imprintations, and it just made this big ass triangle. And triangle ships are not uncommon in UFO lore.
Nope, we just talked about one.
We did. And then now, especially nowadays, like there's that, what is it, the TRB or whatever the fucking supposed to be like reverse engineered craft, that triangle black
The
one.
real, yeah, I don't know the numbers, but yeah, there's like that super stealth plane thing.
Yeah, that everybody is now saying is a real thing, which
Mhm. Yeah,
Wait,
but
how'd
like
you
stealth
get
is like it right. Like, it's like in like bend the light. Is that the one with like that coat on it? I
don't-
saw a jet that has like a membrane that like bends light basically.
Oh, what the hell?
Like you can't see it. Like I don't know, it's crazy.
Oh,
Maybe
it
it
just
was, maybe it's AI.
who
I was
knows? I've been bamboozled by AI.
I know. Yeah.
Not the
Uh,
first time.
Nope. And then so they found other circles that measured about like roughly 3 feet wide by 1 to 2 feet deep. So like whatever was making these circles also had to have been heavy to like go 2 feet deep.
It's weird. It's like
hmm
holes.
The plot thickens.
The plot is thick. This is a epic novel. This has got parts and parts and parts.
Spooky parfait. But yeah, so
Yeah,
like
this
the
is.
soil inside the holes was firmly packed together. So yeah, that just automatically indicates that
Let me
like this
explain
thing
it.
was just massive
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
heavy. So about this time, Terry began having trouble with his, prized cattle because obviously if woo-woo things are going to happen, your animals are going to pick up on it before anything really.
Absolutely.
And then the cows were dying under unexplained circumstances. So obviously, not I mean not obviously, but like you've got your cattle going crazy for some reason, and then now they're dying, and that's not good
Mm-hmm.
for you because if you lose all your cattle or a good amount of cattle, you're going to be out of business as a rancher.
Oh yeah, you need them. It's your livelihood. And but while that's going on, like outside, and Terry's dealing with that, like Gwen's dealing with stuff already on the inside. And like they're
Mhm.
noticing things when they first get to this house. So when they first get to this house, there's like locks on everything, like
But
inside, outside,
yeah,
Like
just
big
locked
bolt
up.
locks.
Yeah, like
about
giant locks. So they're like, okay, weird. And then like, Gwen's inside and like in the kitchen, like poltergeist activity is happening. Like there's all kinds of like groceries going missing and typical husband and wife fashion. Like initially they're like, oh well, she's like, Terry's just so worried about the cows. I can't bring this up to him. So like he doesn't know this is going on initially at first. He just thinks weird cow shit's going on. Meanwhile, cow shit's going on, and like your wife's getting like fucked around with in the house.
Yeah, so much ghost activity.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna assume there are that many logs and on the inside too. I'm like, is this like a torture house or was it
Right. Well, there was like
or
while I was doing some
what were
research.
they trying to keep out?
That's what I'm worried about. What are you
Yeah,
trying
what
to
are you
keep
trying to
out
keep
your house?
out? But like it's some of the research that I found, there was like some of those big locks on some of the closet doors, but on the inside. So you're
Yep.
locking yourself in. So like what are
In
you
yeah,
like locking yourself in to not let get you?
That's not cool.
in a closet
Yeah,
that
or
you're
yeah,
So many
that's
being
questions. We've
in the
only
middle
been
of
here for a
nowhere.
couple
Yeah.
days.
so many questions. That would be like all my red flags. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm out. It's gonna be a fucking
Oh,
no for me,
the red
dog.
flags are just
Yeah.
everywhere. It's
Uh-uh.
flying.
So the weirdness continues to get fucking stranger, why wouldn't it? So in April of 95, shit starts getting really weird. And so while he was out checking his cattle one evening, Terry saw this silent glowing object pass over this grove of, 50-foot tall poplar trees that ran across, along the lines of one of his fields. And a few days later, Gwyn saw another unidentified or unexplained flying object. It looked like headlights, so like pretty much like an RV. So they thought that somebody had an RV on their property, and it just looked like two big bright headlights.
This is what I was talking about. Their nephew is here, right? Isn't the
hmm
nephew there? The nephew's there because you got to get toughened up.
Yeah, they got
Like,
to toughen him up because he's like an inner
Oh
yeah,
city
yeah.
cheesy
kid.
slicker shit. Yeah, it's like yeah, go to the ranch. Yeah, and then he starts seeing SUV-sized fucking lights in the woods, in the sky. That's fun.
Yeah, it's wild, absolutely wild. So yeah, she sees these headlights, but they were like a little away from this craft thing, and it just lit the whole side of the mesa up like it was broad daylight, they said. So Terry started examining, his odd cattle deaths more closely after that. And the first cow found dead, usually, shortly after a UFO sighting, showed only a hole in the center of its left eyeball. So like every time there was like a weird unidentified sighting of like an orb or these crazy ass fucking SUV-sized vehicles, a cow would be dead, but with only like a small hole in its eye in the same spot every time.
Like what was also kind of weird about like, so you see like UFO, the mutilated cow. Sometimes they would see cows or like one cow in particular acting erratically and like distancing itself from the herd, then see a UFO, and then that cow would be dead.
So do you
So
think
it's
like
like,
the UFO is like separating that cow from the herd to like?
or like somehow it knows, or maybe they've taken it a bunch of times and tested it, or like who knows? Like
I just
it's
go
a
to people,
yeah, marked. Maybe they make
draw
it smell
them.
different or something. Yeah, who
Yeah,
knows?
I mean, like we tag animals, so maybe they've like tagged it some way.
Yeah,
That's their animal.
they're seeing all kinds of ships. Like you're talking about that. Like they see things that are like just lights. They see triangles. They see refrigerators.
Hmm.
Like
There's one
they,
that's like a size of a football field. That's like a rectangle. They
Yeah.
see like there's a
yeah,
bunch of shit.
yeah, it's fucking crazy already.
Oh,
And then like the crazy thing about like the cattle mutilation is though like the predators like would not touch the dead cow, and like so you would
Yeah,
think that that would be like easy pickings for these
yeah.
fox and coyotes
Yeah,
and
all
stuff
kinds
like
of
that.
scavengers, yeah,
nope, they don't want anything to do with it.
and
Nah.
So yeah,
that's
like
disturbing.
And then so Tom noted that there was like this weird chemical smell around any time that like a cow was found fucking chopped up.
mhm,
And that kind of like collaborates with like other stuff that we've heard in UFO lore about weird chemical smells.
like strong odors. But
Yeah.
the cow stuff is some of the like. There's cow mutilations through UFO lore and history, but
Mhm.
Skinwalker Ranch is some of the most in your face cattle mutilation and like cow stuff happening. Like there's footage of cows just dropping dead.
Mhm.
There's instances like we said where like the cow acts weird and then is dead after see a UFO. There's instances where like cows that were around a dead cow have like radiation burns on them and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
it's so weird.
Yeah.
it's in your face and like I don't know if you're gonna talk about it anymore, Josh, but like the
I'm gonna
actual stuff that happens to the cows is ridiculously insane.
yeah,
Like
I'm gonna get into it. It's gonna get pretty well, this is why we put a disclaimer. It's gonna get pretty
exactly.
brutal.
Yeah.
So a short time later, there was a second cow that was found dead, and it had the exact same hole in the left eyeball as the first cow. And so, with both of the cows, Terry had taken a piece of wire and inserted it into the hole to gauge how far it went in or like how deep the hole actually was to see like what the fuck happened. So, in both of these cases, the wire slipped easily to the center of the brain. So, whatever it was like pinpoint to the brain, and these cow were dead. And then, so also during this time, some of the cows started disappearing and not just like showing up dead or mutilated or anything like that. They were just like vanished, like
Yeah.
gone.
Wow.
Terry said, "We contacted everyone around. And this is his direct quote. He said, "We contacted everyone around. We looked everywhere. They just vanished." In one instance, Terry followed the tracks of a cow in the fresh snow. The tracks just stopped under some trees at the edge of a field, and the area around the animal's last steps was surrounded by a circle of fresh twigs and branches that had broken. So Terry could see where they had come from like looking up and seeing all these trees and be like, oh shit. So like it's fresh limbs that had fallen. So
Yeah.
what grabbed this cow? Because if you're following it and tracking it in the snow and seeing its tracks, then all of a sudden they stop.
Mhm.
Well, what the fuck
There you
happened?
go.
Cows don't fly.
Right.
Not that I know of.
Nah.
Yeah, and what the cow hit, breaking all those branches on the way up.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or yeah, what came in like didn't Rendlesham have like some weird marks on a tree of like something came in down or
Marks on the
whatever?
Well,
tree, yeah. This also screams like missing 411 kind of stuff, where like
Yeah.
1 second something's there and the next second it's not. Like that's always interesting. That could happen like while you're in, like. Could you imagine if you're tracking this cow? They're not fast. You're on horseback. There's a few of you. Like, how far ahead is this cow? You're probably hearing it go, like,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, it's just like
nothing.
it's in no
Yeah.
direction. Like,
Yeah, no. I'm not buying it. I don't
No.
care if you're selling it. I'm not buying it. So during the next few months, the Shermans, like we said, they observed, a variety of different of crafts and whatnot, and the mutilation activity kept going and kept going. But this is where stuff you wouldn't even assume that it could get weirder, but it fucking does. So this was probably the most spectacular aerial phenomenon that was observed. And this is how Terry described it. We could see these 100-foot circular openings appear in thin air. It was like 4 orange-colored doorways would sort of spiral open. So to me, that just reminds me of like the Doctor Strange portal.
Yes, that's
opening
exactly what I was
up.
picturing.
Rick and Morty,
Yes.
like the portal gun portals. Yeah.
Yeah. And they would spiral open, he said, and looking through it with his high-powered scope, because obviously, I'd keep my rifle on me if I was him as well.
Fucking
So he's
Rambo.
just up here like scoping out these portals and shit. They would watch small craft come from these hovering portals, fly around the property, and then re-enter them. They also described the stealthy smaller craft as being about 60 by 40 feet. So that's pretty big too.
That's-
60
yeah.
feet wide by 40 feet long. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's longer than a bus both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. He said it was that big. It was kind of squarish with short wings. Yeah. And then he kept saying that the smaller crafts that would come out of the portals looked like they were flying like a grid. So they were looking for something or mapping something out.
Yeah, they were actually like flying with intelligent like purpose.
And then they would also emit spikes of light so that like they were just scanning or surveying or something, and the light would hit the ground.
So weird.
Yeah, and the Shermans thought it would be some sort of navigation system, and that kind of could be true if you're in an interdimensional craft.
Yeah. So we were gonna talk about this no matter what. The show, the was it Discovery Channel?
Yeah.
They do all kinds of crazy experiments, and
Yes.
they do an experiment that does have some validity, even though they blow it out of proportion and then like kind of just forget about it. They find that like there is a part of like the side of that mesa that has caverns in it. So they throw a bunch of like flare smoke bomb things down there, and they're all excited because the fucking smoke's going down and not coming out, and they're seeing it come out of all over the place. So there's some kind of cave or tunnel network system around there, and like I don't know, they don't talk about it ever again. It
Yeah.
doesn't come up in any other episode
Like,
or anything. So I don't know if it's something or nothing, but like missing 411 caves, all those things. Like if cattle going missing super quick, are they going into caves? Are they getting drawn into caves by something?
Who knows?
yeah.
Dragon was on it, yo.
I was
Dragon-
just about to say, can we talk about the fact that there's a grown man having
Yep.
other grown men on national television call him Dragon, and he is so fucking serious about his name.
Yo. Hi, they call me Dragon.
Oh, cool. I'm Nighthawk.
Excuse me? You heard me right. Dragon.
I didn't stutter. I wonder if it's on his resume.
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
Like just you think he signs it on emails like best regards, Dragon.
Oh, you know he
What
does.
Yes, I
You
think
know
so. It's
he
like
does.
Beyonce, Dragon.
So we,
The
yeah.
sunglasses stay on.
My name.
So we used to laugh all the time when I was a tech, because you could always tell how much like someone wanted you to know like how much education they had, because they would put like every group of letters that they could. It'd be like LVT, CVT, LVT. Like, it'd be like, okay, you could just put your name.
Yeah.
It could have just said like Tech Karen. Like you didn't have. I
don't need
the
all of
alphabet.
your credentials. I
That's-
don't need
that's
alphabet
Dragon.
soup.
Right.
He would be doing that. God damn, that's a wild show though. But it sucks me in. It's trash TV, and I
It
love it.
is. Yeah.
I have such a hard time. Like I do watch it, but I am the guy that's just yelling at the TV the whole time because it's like, all right, so move a couple boulders. Let's get down in this hole. What are
Yeah,
we doing, guys?
Yeah, I don't need
Why-
6 episodes to tell me what.
Oh, that's
why is
what's
Dragon flying
infuriating.
his
Yeah.
drone around in circles? Just let's go.
I'm gonna drink every time Dragon says we can't dig.
And they got permission from the new owner. We'll talk about that in a future episode. This
Yeah,
show will come up way
Yeah.
in the future.
Let's get back to the spooky facts and not television Tinseltown shit.
Tinseltown.
So the Shermans' son, their son found a mutilated cow one day, and it was like within 5 minutes of it just falling over dead. And he said that he'd seen this Angus eating peacefully and being gentle, kind of like just docile cow would. And he returned moments later and he found it dead. So the cow's rectum had just been cored out. So like
Wow.
just gone. Like surgical precision, super smooth hole. It was 6-inch wide hole that was 8 inches deep. I don't know any predator that has surgical precision like that
No.
at all.
I'm just aliens. Why? I'm just.
Yeah,
I
why?
don't-
What's up with the what's up?
I don't get that, but okay.
No, man. It's just a thing.
Hey, probes,
The way in.
probing.
Well,
The door is a door.
I don't want that one. That door's
No.
closed. Some doors should just not be open.
Push
Exactly.
only. Push only.
So,
But we didn't mention that also with all this coring out with the eye, with the anus, no blood.
yeah, no blood,
yeah,
no nothing,
yeah.
no blood, no guts.
Clean.
so yeah, at least.
Yeah.
And then in some of them, it seems like the wounds were cauterized. So whatever like did the coring and the
Mhm.
cutting and precision or whatever, it burned the flesh around it. So that's probably why you wouldn't have like blood.
But yeah, tons of birds.
But the cow's blood was also drained a lot of times. Like there
Yep,
was just
yep.
no blood in the cow.
Goddamn chupacabras.
Right?
So
Well, yeah, because I have
dude-
to wonder, like, how many cows do the aliens need? Because they can't be that complex of creatures to study or that kind of thing. So, at that
Well,
point, I feel like, yeah, we might be looking at something else.
So I've thought about stuff like that. It's like, why would they continue to do it? One of the things I think about is like when we do, like everyone knows, when you get your throat cultured, right? You take a culture and you put it on like the petri dish and like you let stuff grow.
Mhm.
The only thing I could think is that like for some reason like they need certain organs to like try to grow organs off of or test viruses against or something that would continually like need for science because yeah, how many times can you look at a cow anus and decide that it's the cow anus?
Good job, Bill.
Agreed.
You brought me another cow anus.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of little fucking aliens that can't stop bringing back anuses. And the other aliens are like, I don't know what to do about them.
Coming from, I don't know, maybe that's how the
That's
cows
Phil.
shit.
That's
know.
Phil. That's his thing.
Yeah.
He lost the remote to the other Greys, and now all they bring back is anuses.
He just walks into the bar and just flops it on it. It's like, you sure let him do that? That's Phil. Him and his
That's so
anuses.
gross.
That is so
Oh, Lord.
gross. So
Bill.
let's
Okay.
keep talking about even weirder shit. And this has nothing to do with like UFOs or anything like that. So more poltergeisty activity. So during that same summer, Terry, his son, and his nephew, the kid that was at the ranch to get toughed up, heard unintelligible voices while they were standing in a nearby pasture. So like all three of these guys are either auditory hallucinating or something is talking to them. The sound, which they first assumed to be like the echoes of a CB radio, they said, seemed to emanate from out of the air directly above them. So like Sky Daddy could have been talking to them for all I know. As they listened more closely, they could distinctly hear two voices, and they said they were speaking in an unknown language, which Terry described as choppy and anti-halting, like a cross between Russian and Native American. So that just it's
Oh,
an odd combo anyway.
too very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of vowels and consonants, and yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. That's not fine.
Jeez.
No. So Terry said one voice had a deep resonant tone and the other was a little bit higher pitched, and Terry is just, by this point, he's just getting fed up with all the weird shit that's happening. So this poor man is just like on the verge of a mental break, and he just
Yeah.
yells into the air. He's like, "We can hear you!"
My name's Phil. I just want some anuses.
Get this man an anus.
I didn't know you could hear me. I would have just asked.
Please, for the love of
Well,
God, leave me
dog-
alone, Phil.
Uh,
And then the voices stopped momentarily, and then the deeper voice apparently broke into a low rumbling laugh.
well, I
Like,
know
so
what
this, like, you're just, this voice is just mocking you, and I would feel so defeated.
yeah.
yeah, I could see me doing that. I've done that, like just bringing my forks back at my house, like been so ill.
So after it laughed at him, the conversation just went on as before. So these two beings kept talking.
Phil
The
still didn't get what he
disrespect.
wanted.
No anuses for Phil.
Oh.
So by the fall, events seemed to be moving towards a climax. They were seeing the lights in the field one night, and Gwen, she grabbed her binoculars and she focused in on it, and she was shocked when she saw what she said to see was a square lighted structure just sitting on the ground. So, like, just a square, just like a little cube, pretty much.
Glowing cube.
And then it just blinked out. And then she caught a glimpse of a large, heavyset individual seated in the object. So, like, she could see this creature sitting inside the cube thing. And after a short time later, the craft reappeared, but this time both, Gwen and Terry watched through a 60 power spotting scope. So, still looking through rifles and shit.
Yeah, man, because they're out there on a range. They gotta be able to see that shit. They got stuff to see.
Fuck yeah,
Like,
home on the range.
Kudos to them, because I don't know if I'd still be looking at this point.
Yeah, I would
I'd
not be looking
afraid
at
of
all.
next.
see, this is the only thing that about this all the time. It always just seems like it just does whatever it is, whether it's a UFO, whether it's an orb, whether it's a wolf. It always does just enough to like scare you and annoy you, like, and then
Yeah.
disappears. Like it never fully hangs around and lets you like get a good look or like, like it's always just enough, and it seems like it always just wants to like flip
Just
your
tease
nose.
you.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
almost
yeah.
like it doesn't even care that they're there, but they're just a byproduct that they have to deal with. That like
Yeah.
it's just of no consequence to them. Almost like they're the ghosts in the house, and people are they're living their lives around them.
Yeah,
Like it
the
just
others.
yes.
There was while I was doing research later on, there's a group of researchers that come out to the ranch, and they were talking about that they received, not, I can't remember if it was like a message or it was kind of like the voice thing that Terry just yelled up at the sky about. And it was essentially like this thing told them that there's nothing that they can do to stop what this thing is doing,
It seemed
essentially.
like
And
it
they're doing
could.
the same thing. This thing is researching them while we're researching it.
It's one of those
That's all
cases where it does
terrifying.
seem like something
Yeah.
is always watching, and
Mhm.
it's watching and it's learning and it's able to like adapt its behavior to the individuals. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to go out there and see UFOs? Oh, all right, we'll freak you out with some crazy UFO sightings. Oh, you want to see a cryptid? We got you. Like, it's weird.
It reminds me of that B-list horror movie Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Oh man, it's such a good one because it's like literally that. So like it's tailored to like you pick up a object and then that's like the horror thing. And then they go down into like this underground layer and it's essentially like every type of thing. You have ghosts, giant spiders, wolfman, clowns, like everything that's terrifying.
Take me to the clowns. We'll hang
Oh,
out. I'm good.
I'm good
I
on
love scary clowns.
scary clowns.
Love scary clowns. That's like my thing. My wife hates it. Like that whole corner is full of scary clowns.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
good. That
thanks.
corner could stay there. I mean, I'm not about that life. But getting back to them looking through their fucking scopes again, they saw this figure standing next to the object, and Terry described the person as being over 7 feet tall and decked out in a totally black uniform, and the guy was very huge. So isn't that what Barney
Oh,
Hill described too? Like they had like a black military uniform.
Yep, like a black suit.
Mhm.
Like
the
it looked,
the
yeah,
aerial school
very.
ones had black suits too. They were little, but
Yep.
Yeah, and this guy was wearing like a helmet or a visor that was like something shiny on its face, they said, because the way of the light glinted off of the head area. So,
Or his giant eyes. Oh,
You always
yeah.
just wonder. So I definitely think whatever, there's definitely paranormal phenomena of all sorts here. But because there's paranormal phenomena there, you know that the US government knows that there's paranormal phenomena there. So like have they been there for a really long time, like also like learning how to manipulate whatever this thin place is? And like every once in a while you see like just a astronaut dude with a visor on and he's oh and just like disappears
And he just
like
like fade. No, if that ever happened and then just like an astronaut
oh
dude was
my
like,
god.
"Oh shit," beep, 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 and then he just phases it out of
yeah.
existence, I would commit myself. Like I'm crazy. I'm
Like,
absolutely
guys gotta
batshit
believe
insane.
me. You gotta believe me. Yeah, what was his name? John Connor.
Fuck. You said you'd say that. So yeah, so here comes another crazy story, and this one makes me real sad because some dogs get hurt, get
Well,
vaporized.
We got more than vaporized.
Yeah, yeah, some
well,
poor dogs.
mhm.
They
So
get some.
yeah, the family started noticing these glowing blue balls moving around the property, and these balls gave off like a crackling sound, so like static electricity. So it reminded me of those like plasma balls that you
Oh,
would see
like
in the 90s, and you could touch them and
these remind me of what I saw in the cemetery.
oh yeah, that's right, your
Oh,
cemetery experience.
Yeah, I would love to talk to one of them because the one thing about those things was like it looked overlaid. I'll never forget how it looked like bad Photoshop.
Like it just wasn't supposed to
interesting.
be like copy paste a picture and
Yeah,
paint.
like it
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, it looked weird, but I wonder.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, maybe this jog your memory or sound similar, which would be eerie. So they gave off this crackling sound like static electricity and stuff like that, and it seemed intelligently controlled and could either hover or move ridiculously fast. So things that we've already seen and heard from modern stuff lore about today.
Mm.
And the one evening the Shermans watched one of these blue balls and it had just approached one of their horses and the light hovered within like a foot of the horse's face, spooking it. Like obviously like this bright light's gonna spook the shit out of a horse. So the horse is freaking out, and then from 10 feet away, Gwyn shined their flashlight on it, and the blue orb just like retreated after she showed like lit her
Oh,
flashlight up at it.
gotta move.
Yeah, it was like, "Oh shit, you spotted me." Like, "Yeah, no shit. You're a big ball of blue glowing stuff."
Yeah.
Crackling light. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it approached Terry as if it was, like, inspecting him, so it left after she shone the light on it, and then it came back and was, like, trying to see who Terry was,
Yeah, these are weird.
and so he got, like, a close-up look at this thing, and he said it looked like it was a glass ball about the size of a baseball, and it inside of it had 2 blue fluids that were intermingling with each other,
Uh-oh.
and yeah, so it just I'm just picturing, like, an orb with, like, a wash machine, essentially, like, going
Mm,
around, like
yeah, yeah. Like it's water. You have like colored oil that's
yeah.
separated, and
Yeah.
they're going around each other almost like centrifugally to keep it up or something.
Yeah, it's crazy, and Terry apparently was just super scared, and he's just like, that was the most scared I've been in my life," is what he told
Surprised
this
he didn't
guy.
fucking shoot it. This guy's always shooting at everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
he's
this guy's about to have a
wacky.
mental break. And, later that evening, poor Terry can't catch a fucking break. The blue ball returned. This time, it hovered in the
Sucks for
face.
any man.
Huh?
Oh,
So that sucks for any man.
The blue balls
I
returned.
was
That
waiting
they
on
do.
somebody. I knew it.
I was hoping it would happen at some point.
You're welcome.
Ins- Instead of like going over the horses or like inspecting Terry, it went over to a cow, and you know fucking the orb retreated when Terry sicked his three dogs on him, and after a little bit, they took off chasing this thing because at first they didn't really want to go near it So Terry was like, no, you got to go. He was coaxing him to go after it.
Mhm.
So then they started chasing it in snarling hot pursuit, right? Gwen and Terry watched as the dogs followed the glowing globe into the woodland area, and that's where they lost sight of the ball, but they heard this piercing yelping sound. This breaks my little heart. These three dogs didn't come back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like you can just when I was doing the research, I was just like, you could just hear that yelp because it is just
Yeah, but it makes me
Yeah.
mad at Terry. Like, well, you know this shit is weird
I'm
as
like,
hell.
you
and
You
you're
saw
gonna
a giant wolf, and you're just like, go get. I'm like, go get in the house.
no.
Get in the house.
you go inside. Why do you
Yeah.
not have your guns?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Shoot at this thing, man.
yes.
Just shoot everything. Shots.
Sorry, Terry, but boo.
You bad
Bad
dog
move.
owner. Boo, Terry.
Yes.
So
We are victim blaming right now, everybody. 'Cause this is
100%.
I know.
traumatizing.
Oh man. Don't do that to dogs. Don't do that to animals in general, but dogs especially. So deciding that discretion was the better part of valor. So they decided to like, hey, so it's nighttime, it's pretty late at night. We're not gonna go into the woods and investigate.
Now they're brave.
Yeah,
Now they're
yeah.
not. Now they're not going to send their dog, or now they're not going to go look.
Yeah, they're like, no, we're just
scary.
gonna wait until morning to go and investigate that weird ass noise and why our dogs didn't fucking come back.
Salty about the dog. Sorry.
I know, me
Uh-huh.
too. Fuck. Where's John Wick when you need him?
Just kicks the door open.
Just
Terry just
fucks
pulls out
him
his
up.
like 350 mag. He's like kicks it out of his hand. He's like, no way. The whole
Oh,
time
that would be hilarious. So the
Oh
next
my
day,
comes out of a portal.
Keanu Reeves comes out of a portal.
It'd be great.
That would be great. That would answer so many questions.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm delaying the inevitable. I'm
Yes.
traumatized. I don't want to hear about this. But go on, John.
I know. So the next day, Gwen and Terry found three burned circles in the woods, and in the center of each circle, they discovered a greasy blob,
What?
what looked to be like butter, essentially. So
Uh-uh.
just three piles of butter in this burnt spots. The trees above them had burned rings on them, which looked like they were scorched. So weird tree markings yet again. And the grass eventually grew back, but the limbs of the trees never did,
Huh.
which was super odd.
Yeah.
So after their dogs got butterized, that was the final straw for the Shermans. We just couldn't go on without our dogs, Terry said. And feeling that they could no longer guarantee the safety of their children, they decided to call it quits, which I think is super fair. Like your dogs just got
Yes.
liquidated. You should probably get the fuck out of there.
Butterized. Like, what does it take to render fat into butter?
Like no, like bone
Or
and
just
like other stuff
yeah.
just
Yeah.
liquidated.
Uh,
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not dog.
moving on.
Yeah, so they called it quits. They put the place up for sale and they left the hellish ranch. Terry later said there were some odd things about the place that we noticed when we moved in, and we talked about that. I was like, you would obviously gave a
Yeah.
fuck about it. But I mean, I guess you put all your money into it. You're a rancher. You
You
can't
got
really
meant
just
the
up
best
and
of it,
move.
right?
Yeah. So the ranch's previous owners, I don't know if we really like talked about them that much, but here's a little bit about them. They had no children. They lived there since the 1930s. Mr. Mayer, he had died 15 years previously, and Mrs. Mayer lived there on the ranch by herself. Spooky shit. I would not live there by myself for 7 years, and then she died. And then
But there was all that weird stuff. Like there was like we were talking about, like the chains and the weird like
yeah, I was
gates
just about to
and
get
stuff.
into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So when they moved in, the Shermans also noticed that there was like these heavy dog chains bolted to each of the front four exterior doors. So it just looked like they had big guard dogs for some reason.
Or wolves.
Yeah, or wolves. The Shermans just assumed that the couple had a dog, which they moved from chain to chain to keep out of the sun. Which, I mean, if you live on a big ranch, why would you even chain up your dog anyway?
Well,
Terry asked about this big dog or whatever these chains were for from the previous ranch hand, And no, the guy said that the mayor's had 4 huge, ferocious dogs. So they just kept these big, massive guard dogs chained up.
I mean, yeah, or else it'd get vaporized. So
Yeah. I mean, but, like, it's also to, like, protect like, what are you keeping out of the house, and why are you also putting locks on the inside of your closet doors and stuff?
yeah,
It just sounds like a scenario straight out of a Stephen King novel,
It sounds like a
honestly.
Lake Placid situation.
Yeah.
Like where this old lady is making some kind of agreement to not be fucked with for 7 years by herself. Like, was that wolf hers? And,
Yeah.
like, it came back and was friendly because, like, "Oh, now there's people here again," and then was like, "Oh, but this woman just let me have her sheep whenever they
interesting.
so let me just grab your cow real quick." Like, I don't know.
Wow.
It was so weird. So, after their decision to sell out and, like, move away from the ranch, which shout outs to them, good on you. You stayed alive there a hell of a lot longer than I would have. Terry started talking. He had a conversation with a group of Utes who were working at the local water department, and the natives told Terry that they'd formed a betting pool and were taking bets to how long they would last on the ranch. The longest guess, the longest guess was a year and a half, and they lasted 2 years. That's a long time.
So does
That
Terry collect
yeah.
now? Like, "Let's go, I want
They
that
were like,
money."
"Yo, I want my money. I was there for 2 years. You said a year and a half. Let's go." Another local native shaman a friend, he was a friend of Terry's, told him that there were tribal songs about the spirits and spooks of the ranch area going back 10 generations. The
Yeah.
shaman said that the area was considered unholy ground and was on the path of the skinwalkers. So there's more curiosity seekers that go out to the ranch. So in the final days of the Shermans owning the ranch, there was a man who identified himself as a naval intelligence officer from North Carolina, just showed up at these guys' houses at the house. The polite Navy man sympathized with their situation and had a great interest in reviewing their photos and videos. Another man who wasn't so polite lurked around the property in a white four-wheel drive vehicle. Terry had noticed that it
White.
had different
Hmm.
plates every time he saw it, and then after an angry confrontation, because obviously Terry is just fed up with this shit, Terry took the man's photo, doing a little detective work on his own. He found out that the man was an agent for the Air Force Office of Special Investigations out of Hill Air Force Base, which was
That's
super weird.
Spooks.
Yeah, so these guys are coming to study and find out what they know and what they've experienced. So the government obviously has an interest in this area.
That was a
yeah.
debriefing. That
Yep.
was, "You've been here for this long, we need to know what you experienced while you were here so we can now put it into our records and take it from here. Thanks, goodbye."
hmm This one's this little last story is pretty wild too. I mean, it's all been wild, but here we go. As they spent their last few days on the ranch, they were rounding up the cattle, packing up stuff and everything like that. And it was late evening. They were just really tired, locked all the doors, all the cabinets and everything, as they usually do. They put their kids to bed and everything like that, and they fell asleep. Like they were just super tired. So they like fell into like this really deep sleep that they said. And in the next morning, they woke to find their bedding was just covered in blood. And they both had an 1/8 inch scoop mark in the same place on their right thumbs. So it just like something like came and took a big chunk out of their thumb, and their whole like bed was just covered in blood.
Yeah, because they were bleeding.
Yeah.
It almost seems like someone numbed it and, like, put like a vasodilator so they didn't feel it, and then they just bled because it was numb. To get
For-
tissue samples, because they got debriefed and now they're taking tissue samples. Now everything's on record.
Yep. And that's
Wow.
pretty much it. I mean, there's more, but we'll revisit the ranch later
Yeah, we'll
at
have
Yeah,
another episode.
we will go into like the more modern investigations, NIDS, and all that kind of stuff in another episode, because I just think to go through it all at once, even as like a two-parter back to back,
So much.
is it's a lot. And I think it's just be more fun to separate it and come back to the ranch every once in a while for like different parts of their
Mhm.
stories.
Because it's ongoing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop, but
Yeah.
And like maybe we'll even do like a live and we'll watch one of the Discovery shows and just yell at the thing all the time.
We'll do that. But yeah, I figured Skinwalker Ranch was a nice way to end Alien April, and
It's
because it
actually
had,
going to be beginning March, but yeah, it ties off our
you mean
Alien April
May?
because it's got everything. May, sorry, I'm backwards. But yeah, it does bring us, and then oh yeah, go ahead, because yeah, it does bring us right around to where we need to be.
Yep. So it's gonna be good. It's got everything from portals, cryptids, UFOs, poltergeists, you name it. Government
There's
conspiracy.
Yeah.
a lot. I feel like we could almost tell the stories and then go back and do an episode where we just take apart some of the bigger
Mm-hmm.
accounts of things that happen, because some of these things, like there's one story where I don't think it's Terry, but they're like following this glowing orb, and then they realize like they get closer, and after like driving a bunch of miles, and we're like it's like a tunnel, like a portal hanging out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
It Skinwalker Ranch is insane, guys. It's nuts.
So stay tuned for some more ranch stories.
Yeah.
Definitely a ranch. Home on the ranch.
Oh, yeah.
You only put ranch on pizza out
I
here in
was just about to
Pennsylvania,
say, man, like, do you guys put
Mr.
ranch on pizza? They do that shit here.
Wild.
100%.
Where's
Always.
Terry and his guns at? Because we got some business if people putting ranch on their pizza.
Hey, pineapple belongs on pizza, not ranch.
I could do that, but
I think you both.
I just don't. I don't know. Whatever. I feel like I got a different experience with pineapple pizza. We got some fun episodes coming up. We got a witchy episode coming up next. That's a little bit local to me, so that's fun. If you guys listen to All Aliens, All April, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I certainly did.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one.
We will be putting together some more stuff like that. So we're working on a lot of stuff on the back end. We're working on trying to get more little like thematic series put together and some kind of a better schedule for us, so we know what's coming up in the future. Anybody else got anything else to say about Skinwalker Ranch?
I'm skinwalkered out.
I want to go
Yeah.
investigate.
I do too.
Negative. Not Skinwalkers.
If you guys are this far and you have not subscribed yet, again, what the fuck? Just do it. You've been with us for over an hour. Does it
might as
hurt to click
well.
a button? I don't think so. Use your
Not at
fingers.
all. Breath will scoop your thumb out while you sleep.
There we
Yeah, we're coming
go.
for you.
That's it.
Me and my dire wolf. Which I have a dire wolf.
That would be
So cool.
insane.
All right, guys. Thank you again for listening. We appreciate it. If you want to be a guest on our show, what do you got to do?
Hit us up at ssOSpodcast@gmail.com.
I know I threw that at you. You weren't ready.
I was not,
Keeping
but
you
I
on
did
your
it anyway.
toes.
But you did it. You nailed it.
I did.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Keep it strange.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to join us as a guest, suggest a topic, or have a story you want us to share, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at ssospodcast@gmail.com. For more behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive insights about SSOS, make sure to follow us on social media. And don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for listening to the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. This show is an independent production, researched and crafted by our passionate team. But we couldn't do it without all of you. We truly appreciate your support. Embrace the unknown, for not all secrets are meant to be kept. Farewell, strangers.